Amon Amarth, the name of the album is called Berserker. We are happy to say this is the first time we reviewed this band, Danny.
Yeah.
Known as a kind of like a manifestation of not only melodic death metal, which we've done a lot on the show, but also a bit of folk, a bit of Vikingness, and a bit of other stuff as well.
I think you're kind of tapping out there. That's probably the majority.
Yeah, I think so too. They are from Sweden. From
really?
Tumba.
Wow, really Sweden.
Sweden.
Northern Europe.
Nordic,
I'm
man. They formed in
Surprised.
1992, which makes them, Danny, 26 years old. 27 years
Probably
old.
26 and a half.
The band takes the name from Sindarian name Mount Doom, a volcano in J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle Earth. We have talked about Lord of the Rings before.
No shit.
Their lyrics mostly deal with Viking mythology and history, and so they have been linked with Viking metal. I would say they're more like death metal than Viking metal, but then again, what is Viking
What is
metal?
Viking metal?
I mean, is it something that initiates that part of you that wants to take control of Europe and have sex with all their women?
I thought it was like you put your CD in the CD player and like unloads like a torrent.
Yeah,
into
because
your
Viking
computer and
metal is
steals your
just
shit.
about growing a bit and drinking beer. I mean, that's just the hipster of metal. We can't have that.
Yeah, it's just true.
So we
Yeah.
can't. That's not going to work.
So let's say like robbing you or burning down your house. It's not really Viking, is it? Is
That's
that how it
right.
works? Stealing your women.
They've done it quite a lot, as you can see.
What, stealing women.
I'd imagine so. I mean, they would have stole someone's girlfriend from the music they've played, or at least there had been sort of fights. Although the music doesn't really reflect that. It doesn't seem like fighting music. It just feels like
it's not.
victorious kind of music, you know?
Yeah.
Let's start from the very first track with Father's Gold. It's a nice little acoustic intro. It's got big epic guitar lines and a catchiness. Reminds you a little bit of Omnium Gathering. You know how we reviewed those
Yes,
guys? This guy
definitely.
has a very similar sound. There's
Yeah.
a fordic. They have a folk sound with a bit of metal. It's hard for you to know what that sounds like, but instantly, if you remember just kind of skipping through a woods with some like whatever that music sound comes to you, and then imagine those woods being pillaged, then that is your sound for this track. It's got some girthy vocals. I mean, I'm pretty sure the fans know what's going on here. I mean, they would probably expect
Well,
it.
it sounds like because that's all you kind of get through the whole album. So if you like that great.
There is a track which he talks, and
Yeah, wow.
we'll go into
Yeah,
that later. My
that's
thoughts
right.
on that.
Yeah.
There is a double kick going on. There's a big gallop section, which is really beefy, and there's catchy leads going right through it, which is kind of going through the album as well.
Yeah, they got the whole boppy type feel, like so it kind of makes you feel like
Yeah.
battle.
Got a good
charge.
ending, good way to
Yeah.
start the album. I thought it was a nice way to start. Moving on to track 2, Crack the Sky. It's a jamming good time here. It's got simple verse, easy transitions, simple chorus. Did like what the verse did though with the chorus. Cool little variations as well.
Yeah, they put a key change in here, which
Yeah.
is always a winner. Whenever you want to do like an epic battle song, you have to have the key change because that's like when you get in a battle, but you feel like it's hard and you don't have enough to get over the line, and it's yeah, I can do it. Bad,
Yeah,
bad,
it's
crazy,
super
come back.
effective. It's like water Pokemon against a fire Pokemon.
That's right.
You know, you're knocking that thing out of the park. Track 3, Molgen Earth, Hammer of Thought. I think this is another one of those Viking songs. Yeah, it's got that very much pillaging moderate tempo. These guys are moderate to a moderate fast kind of band. There is a couple of slow ones, but there are leads, which is all about conquest and simple drumming, but great production really helps, and big octaves in the solo. Super crushing at the end as well. It's just, again, it's going to sound like we're going to repeat ourselves a bit, and it kind of feels like we are.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's a nice song.
But that song, yeah, has like I'm calling it like a doomy section middle, but it's not. It's just a bit hard and grittier than most of the other songs. But in comparison, it sounds doomy, and they kind of end with it as well.
Yeah.
So it's good. They're trying to break it up a bit and try to get, I guess, a bit more weight behind it. And there's the Thor hammer, so you want to make this sound very epic. And they do things like they put the anvil hitting, the steelwork hitting sound effect in it to making the forging of the hammer. So they try to get it and make it a bit more epic, and that's fair enough. Again, still boppy and still enjoyable.
Shield Wall number 4, easy groove to start off with, death metal sounding and tremolos, clean sections with hardy bass, nice change up. Big changes in those drums again here. It's really good. Now is the ending as well.
I think they're a bit more galloping in the drums
Yeah.
this one as well. Your favourite, man, the Iron Maiden inspired.
Dun,
All
that kind of stuff.
A bit of palm in there as well.
Oh, these guys do have a little bit like Iron Maiden, like the way they set up their guitar solos and their dual leads and that. It's more focused on like the melody and catchiness with it. And I think that works in their favor. In fact, I do find these guys to be a little bit like the Iron Maidens of like death metal at times. They do everything to work again with the song and not tear away too much with the melody. Even the drum, although they're heavy, it's never too technical.
No, it's not. Even their solos aren't really technical.
they're
They're
not.
all very emotive solos. They don't try to sell you the epicness. They just try to sell you more about.
Yeah,
emotion.
it's a good emotion. My favorite track of the album, track 6, Raven's Flight.
Track
Pretty
5.
Oh, track 5 first. Oh, sorry. Yeah, track 5's yeah, I think it was Sad Song is actually
Valkyria. Yeah, it is a sad song. It's all about dying, going to heaven. Well, their version of heaven, which is still heaven, I guess. Yeah. So the tone is there, and the sadness is there. And, but the drums again having that galloping feel. I guess kind of like you're progressing into the next stage and all that thing, and you know. But they're looking forward to it as well. It's a happy sad. You know those bullshit melodic songs where you're like, why am I crying and listen to the song for? It's one of those.
Yeah, it was good. Raven's Flight is my favorite, sorry. Badass Riff started off with some sick leads as well, which is really, really good. Heavy, sweet riffs as well. Great changes. The adrenaline's intense. It keeps it up for me, which is really, really good. A lot of guitar work here. Lead guitars as well. And I think there's a solo going on. Lots of cool drumming as well. There's a bit of flange in the drums, which is interesting, like it's a weird sound, but I liked it. That was a good song.
Yeah, they did a film clip for this one. They also did a breakdown in the middle, slightly again.
The more like death metal breakdown, where it's not like kids aren't going to be forced to do karate moves in the middle of your set list. But you will see some headbanging going on. We are into Ironside now. We're about half an hour into this album, and it's very much a let me tell you the tale of the Hobbit story. Short-lived, going into more of the hybrid death metal, folk metal kind of thing going on. Drums are pretty straightforward here, but it's much at times swing your beer kind of good. But the growls coming back was super effective as well.
Yeah, and they did like a weird guitar slide in the chorus. So so I think maybe they try and get that whole beat swinging type feel to it. And that's fine. It's kind of a storytelling song. So not my favorite.
Our Chelsea fans will like the next track, the Berserker of Stamford Bridge. Chelsea. More slow, more methodical tune, much like the way they play their football over in Chelsea. Although this year they weren't playing too much football because they did come a little bit lower in the table.
Yeah, I think the song's also about like these guys standing up to the English, because I think he starts that whole like power talk and stuff like, "Come here, English, I shall kill you." I think so. Maybe the English won't like this song.
Yeah, I don't know how you want to go out alienating the audience, but then again, it's kind of one of those in the past kind of things. Although maybe the Swedish and the English have a history now of the football, so who knows? I missed the World Cup qualifier at Stamford Bridge.
Something happened. But again, the song's about it's building up the tempo, building up the drums, adding more. I guess it's about going to battle against the English, as it were. It gets heavy in about a 2-minute mark as well.
Yeah, I like the bridge section in this track as well. It leads with a big chorus and cool sounding leads over the top as well. Not bad with the riffs, cool slides as well. Nice resolutions.
But they keep the tempo going, so they build up instrumentation, but they keep the tempo going, which is a good way of just
good track. When once again we can set our sails, very much a Skippy kind of song at the start. I think it is.
It's a long title for a song.
It's a long title for a song. Got some cool harmonized leads going on into the guitar solo. Some tricky hi-hats though, which was good. And I think the drummer did go a little bit more crazy here as well, which is really, really good. He broke it down really well. Cool leads and a fade out, which is cool.
Yeah, they do the fade out bit every now and then. Even the previous song, they had a bit of the slow fade out ending. Yeah. Again, a lot of ascending, descending stuff here. A bit of more galloping is used again. A bit more emotive. In the solo, so more about the whole storytelling side of things rather than the just blasting out stuff.
Skull and Haiti. More the same. Viking feel, Gothenburg sounding. Drumming was a little more stretched out and a little more technical here as well. I think this is probably the most technical on the album. The drumming did sound.
Even a solo is
faster as well. A bit more technical it was pretty much more a stock though, I guess, with the Gothenburg sound, moving off the root note with some melodies on the top. Track 11, Wings of Eagles. I've got to be honest, dude. Right around now, I'm starting to look at my watch. It's quite a long track. We're 46 minutes into this album. We've still got 2 tracks left to go.
Yeah, the last one's a long one.
A little more anger, though, in this one. It's more thrashy than the other tracks as well. It's a cool change because there was a lot going on, which would be more of the melodic side. But this one here came in a little bit later, but did break it up a little bit.
Yeah, and it was a bit more feeling grunt in the song. For the whole album, this is probably the one we actually changed the style up more so. Rather than the whole talking or angry talking, you actually put a bit of grunt power. And
finished it off into the darkest out of tune, headbanging at times though, and more importantly, good intro. This intro here is underrated, and the band probably should have utilized this more idea. I thought it sounded fantastic. It was very epic way to start off, but the instrumentation was very good. The production sounded great, and it was something that the band could have used a little bit more in the album, but nevertheless, it is a good start to the track. The track itself wasn't too bad. Danny, what do you think of the last track?
Yeah, it was good. Like, they start with this is the whole piano and string intro, wasn't it? And slowly builds up. Yeah. Again, it had the same things like one of those sad, happy songs.
Yeah, it was good.
At the end, it fades out the opposite way. So it built up instrumentation and it goes away. The instrumentation just ends on the piano. And then, again, sad, triumphant feel to it.
Cool. And that's the end of this incredibly long album. Finishes well over, was it an hour, I think I tracked it? Or just under 57 minutes. Yeah. Just under the hour, which I guess, is a super ambitious target for a metal band. especially one of melodic death nature. Danny, your goods and your bads about the album.
Yeah, so look, I did appreciate the storytelling side of it, and that they get people engaged with their poppy sounding verse, but the galloping sound. They're good ways of getting a lot of people liking the style because it's a very like non-offensive style.
Yeah.
Again, it's just sometimes I think that the singing needs to be a bit more variance with it. It's
a lot of that
growl. A lot of that growl continuously. And
now we've covered some melodic death metal bands. Sorry to cut you off, but that do break it up a little bit. I think guys like Alexi do enough to break it up in the melodic death metal section. Obviously, guys from Soilwork and In Flames, they do a lot more to break it up, and they introduce a singing variety. There was a track I forgot to mention that was a whisper or a talking. It was very short-lived and it wasn't very good.
Yeah, it's one of those generic things.
Yeah,
where, like, there's the part where we become serious and
it's just because the growl. But when the growl comes in after that section, is phenomenal. He just launches into it, and it's just brilliant. I think the guys growl. And this is the thing about the band in total for me is that I think they've probably worked out now how to write a good melodic death metal song, or at least one that's catchy. And I guarantee the crowd will see this live and really get behind the songs, you know.
Yeah. The big Viking ship coming out and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. At the front of the stage, you know, with the big thing at the start. But it's a tough album to really concentrate on for that long because it just does a good thing for a while, but your taste for that, I mean, how long can you get into it? It's up to you. But for me, I did tap out towards the end. I was like, oh man, this that style. Although the saving factors though, with the guitar lines being so memorable and the musicianships working for each other and never doing outside the song what's needed, was nice as well. It felt for me as a safe album for the band to write, but I think one though that they probably perfected, a little like what Meshuggah's done, I think, where they can write an album like this now and get the production behind it sounding so good that they get their ideas across. But it feels fairly much comfortable in that melodic death metal nature. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think you're right. There's kind of 3 or 4 songs you like in the album, but they repeat it for like 12 songs.
Yeah,
it's like they had to say more dynamic into it, like more heaviness in it.
They're fully aware though, what makes a good song though. Like the groove sections are really good. The way the riffs are good, and the melodies are great. But it feels like for me, I think the fans might know more about it, but there's a lot familiar. The vocals are very much, like I said, the same. The guitar production is the songs are played well, but it feels nothing really feels too far away from being a little I wouldn't say generic. And that's one thing I really don't want to say about this band, because I don't want to give it a bad light, but I think it just feels pretty consistent all the way through, but nothing ever grabs me and goes, this is amazing, right. You know. Yeah. Even with a band that we did, like that Arconian black metal band from a couple of weeks ago or last week, there was some tracks there that are so brilliant and magnificent that just pull you right into it, and it's just unique that I've heard a lot of that in that black metal scene. But this year with melodic death metal, it does sound like bands like At the Gates, like Omni and Gatherum, and that kind of stuff, with a slight twist. And one thing that I found seems familiar, because I've listened to these guys before, and it feels very familiar to those albums as well. So
yeah, I mean, I haven't heard too much of their stuff. No. Maybe they've overdone orchestration and choirs and stuff. But you just kind of expect it. Being a band which is about Viking, about power.
I would have thought that they could have done something more like with Flesh God Apocalypse did with The King, and having a whole orchestration with the whole entire album as a backdrop. You know, get an orchestration in, or get the Swedish National Orchestra, and then get them to help write this thing with you, and then just have something like of that nature. Then they could have had these riffs as well, because there's so much space for it, you know, the way that the songs are, the solos and stuff. So having that extra depth to it would have been phenomenal. But it's not a bad album, but it's hard for me to be like, this is really like the album for like death metal. Get me excited.
Won't make my top 10.
Nah, might not make mine either, to be honest, which is a shame. I thought we did that Omni and Gathering album, we did as well, didn't we? And it felt like on par with that one, to be honest.
Yeah, but they actually had some songs which are very memorable, and actually were like, these are actually really cool songs. I dug live when I saw them live here. These songs, some of these songs live, maybe 1 or 2 would be great. The rest, like, they're not that dynamic, not that impactful.
Oh, the length as well. You know, I think with metal these days, you know, having a 45-minute length of a record to 50 is a good little, like, you know, for that sound. If they did, like, I think when bands do stuff like Dream Theater where it's completely opposite, having it that long is okay, because you've got like your very clean jazz sections to your not death metal, but your new metal, whatever, prog rush sections, and it all kind of weaves in together. But it's a very similar sound, similar production at times. However, these guys are very good at picking melodies out. And if you like Iron Maiden style of songwriting, I think these guys will go to you. And I think what we're saying will probably be like what they're talking about. And that's fair enough, because I think if you love that sound, you want that from the band, they've given it to you here in spades, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely right. So, look, I'm not don't know too much of their stuff. This might be what the fans wanted to hear, what they expect to hear. That's fine. But as someone who's new to it,
from our melodic death metal, I mean, for me, I would recommend, and I think one of the biggest ones. I like the Morse Prince of Mess style with that kind of stuff, and I think Omni and Gathering was the album this year was definitely one more to check out as well. Children of Bodom as well, especially stuff like. I hear with my personal favorites is Hate Crew Death Roll and stuff like that. I just, when it comes to my death metal, these guys didn't creep into it for me, my list. But it's a recommendation, but definitely not a strong recommendation.
Yeah. But in the words of Amon Amarth, we hold our heads up to the sky and know that we will never die, as long as we stand side by side, and as long as we can see the ravens fly.
And that's the end of our show, guys. Thank you so much for checking us out this week. We are on a bunch of things. We're on the old YouTube. We're on the old SoundCloud. We're on iTunes. And we're also on Spotify, Danny.
Yeah, we're on all those places you can hear podcasts. And we have a Facebook page.
Yeah, so head on over to facebook.com/supermetalbro. Leave us a comment or a like, and just let us know what you guys want us to cover, whether it be an album or a question. We keep popping these questions to our fans and getting more ideas and stuff, and we love you for it. And yes, keep them rolling in, guys.
Yeah, love it. Well, that's the way that was. So thank you again.
Thank you very much. We have our birthday coming up in 2 weeks, Danny, don't we?
Very exciting.
So I'm thinking we do something very exciting for it. I've got an idea which I'm going to propose to you, and our fans can get ready for that, because I think we need something special for our birthday.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
All right, until then, though, guys, I am Super Metal Brother Matt.
And I'm Super Metal Brother Dane.
We're the Super Metal Brothers. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll catch you all next week.